welcome to Get a Clue, Casual Gamer, where you get a clue, C-L-U-E, about a game. But today, as promised, I am doing a list of games that I played at Dice Tower Retreat. Today is a big day. Today is 1 year, exactly 1 year to the day from the first video that I put up on this channel on YouTube, 10/10/2021, and today is 10/10/2022. As long as I get this up in time. It's kind of late, and I want to say, I should dress something special for that video, and I'm like, I looked in my closet, and I'm like, well, you could wear a V-neck t-shirt or a V-neck t-shirt. I'm very boring. 90% of what's in my closet are V-neck t-shirts. And I looked, I said, well, the one I'm wearing is orangey. It's October. That's about as good as you're going to get. So I just went, yeah, we're going with what I've got on. But today, just to recap, I made notes here because I played 39 plays of games at the Dice Tower Retreat in Miami, September 13th through 17th, I believe were the dates this year. Those were 37 games. I played 2 of them twice, and 33 of those 37 different games were new to me. New play to me. A couple of them I actually owned and have owned for years, at least especially one. I've owned it for at least 15 years and have never played it. But I found somebody who knew how to play it there, and he taught myself and others. And now I'm here like, oh yeah, no, this needs to get played now. So anyway, out of those 33 out of the 37 games, 28 of them were in the casual level, and those are the ones that I'm going to really talk to you about. So this video is going to be a little bit long because I want to give you just a little idea of what all of these different games were about. First, I want to start with my honorable mentions. These are games that are not in the casual level, and I'm just going to quickly go through them. None of them is outside of the medium level of complexity, but they are all outside of the range that I consider casual level. There are 9 games, and the first one is called The Great Fire of London, where you are trying to keep back the fires from your houses in your neighborhoods, but trying to make it go into the neighborhoods of the other players without knowing what houses belong to who. You know yours, but you don't know anybody else's. And I'm doing this list from easiest to hardest, and really the Great Fire of London comes in just 0.05 above the casual level. And the next one is Catherine, the Cities of the Zarina, which is a new game. And in it, you're just trying to build a house in different cities, get different commodities. It's not a real complicated game. I did play that one. For those who know the Dice Tower crew, I played one of the players of that game was Chris Yee. Another one was, if you were there for the retreat, Joey the Magician. He was in that game too. Another game was Clank Catacombs, which is the newest Clank game. And I had never played any of the Clank games, and so two of my gaming friends there were they had played Clank, and so they understood a lot of what was going on in Catacombs, and so they were able to teach myself and another friend Clank Catacombs, having never played Clank before. Then I went and another time I played Marvel Villainous Infinite Power, and other players there were Eric Summerer, who is the voice of Dice Tower, and Joey, that magician guy. That was actually the first game I think I played with Joey. Funny guy. And by the end of the game, we kind of looked at each other and said, "Not sure if we played this correctly, but yeah, it was fun." We're like, but we're not quite sure if we played this completely correct. The next one is Blood on the Clock Tower. I love Blood on the Clock Tower. It's a social deduction game, and it can take 2 to 3 hours. I mean, 1.5 to 2.5 hours is usual, depending on how many people are playing and how good the game master is to keep things moving and running. And in this case, I played it twice last year at the retreat. And I played it once, and it was the first thing I played on Thursday morning. And if you know anything about games like Werewolf or Secret Hitler or Two Rooms and a Boom, they're all social deduction games. In Blood on the Clock Tower, someone is the demon, some sort of demon. There's different ones. Then there's usually a couple minions. And then most of the rest are townsfolk, innocent people. Some people might be outsiders, which register a little off to the townspeople. But the demon knows that they're not one of his minions. Well, the demon that game was me. I was a puka. And when I saw my assignment, I was like, oh my gosh, I am going to have to really play this out and really play innocent and try and confuse people. So for the next 2.5, 3 hours, I spent almost 3, it was like 2 3/4 hours. I really worked it, and I swear no one's ever going to believe me again. Because I survived the game, which is the goal of the evil team, is for the demon to survive until the end, until you only have 3 people left. And if one of them is the demon, the evil side won. If the townsfolk, the good side, win if they kill the demon. And they did not kill me. I actually got away with it. I was up on the block a couple times, and I was just kind of like, I somehow I talked my way out of it. So yeah, it was a great time, but it's my favorite of those big social deduction type games. Next game I played was Fiam, which is a Friedman Freeze game. It starts with an F, Fiam, and the cover has green on it, which is his favorite color. And it was a little bit thinkier. I mean, we're getting a little bit on the heavier side of medium, but it was a good game. All of these games, Blood on the Clock Tower is the one that I most willingly play again, because I like it a lot. But all of these are kind of like, yeah, I'd play them again. But I'm not running to go and buy them. They are more of a, sure, I'll play it, but I'm not going to buy them. The next one, Merchants of the Dark Road, which is I believe the first game I played in the retreat. I sat down with a couple who were just starting to crunch through the instructions for this game, and not light game. And by the time we figured out how to set it up and roughed through the rules, which were quite a lot, and then played the game and got it all put away correctly, we look at the time and it was like, oh, that was 5.5 hours. Yeah, that was the longest I spent on any one game. It's a good game if you like those, think you're more Euro type of games. You have a lot of choices, a lot of different ways to get points. So there's a lot of analysis, and you can find yourself with analysis paralysis, trying to figure out what's your next move. Merchants of the Dark Road is a fine game. Then another game I played was Dinosaur World. Not a theme that grabs me by any means. In fact, I think it's the first dinosaur game, and there's a lot of them out there now that I've ever played, and it was fine. It was good. I built up my dinosaur park, so it was kind of like Jurassic Park, but in board game format. And then the most difficult, the most crunchy game that I played was Marco Polo 2 in the Service of the Khan, which is a new game. I believe is a new game also. And it was a lot of stuff too. A lot. I mean, when you look at the whole layout, it was like, oh yeah, there was that you could do, and that you could do, and that you could do, and that is like a lot to keep track of. But again, I enjoyed myself. It's just not a casual game, and I'm okay with borrowing somebody else's copy of it. I don't need to own it. Now let's get to the games that might actually really interest you if you're into casual level games. And again, I'm going to start from the easiest to the most complex, but even the most complex is well below the level of in the medium light range. It does not come to medium level. So the first and lightest game is one of those silly games that you play especially at night when you're just like at the end of a gaming day or gaming party or your night or whatever, and you just want something light and silly and ridiculous, and it's Poetry for Neanderthals. You can get this. I mean, retail is like $20. I got it on sale for half price, so you keep an eye out for it. It's a light party game where you have a blow up club that you bop people on the head with if they say something incorrectly in what they're supposed to be describing or whatever. Very easy game. It takes about 15 minutes, 2 to 12 players. We played with 6, and Board Game Geek's suggestion the people of the world say that 6 is the optimum number to play, but you can play 2 to 12 people easily with this game. And again, it's a 15-minute game. It takes no time at all, and it's a wonderful way to either open a game night or close a game night. And the next game is let me find is one that I do not have, and but it's one that after I played it at retreat, I ordered it online, and I'm waiting for it to arrive. So one of these days, I will be the proud owner of Stella Dixit Universe. Stella is, here's my Dixit right there. There's Dixit. And Stella is in the Dixit universe. In fact, the cards in the Stella game actually say Dixit on the back of them. So any of the Dixit cards could be used to change cards up on Stella. That's another plus for it. It's kind of like you can use the Stella cards for Dixit, you can use the Dixit cards for Stella. They're very interchangeable, and they're those unusual pictures, and you're just it's actually kind of takes Dixit and makes it a little bit easier by assigning you the word that you want the picture to describe. Choose a picture that describes this word rather than you having to come up with a word. They're there, and so it's kind of like I don't even remember what some of the words are. It's been about a month since I played the game. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's a simple game, a simple word, and you have a handful of cards, and you're going to choose a card and flip it and see which one best describes that word. It's an easy game. Stella Dixit Universe. The next one is a theme that the name totally doesn't interest me at all. But it's, oh, I forgot. Stella, it takes about 30 minutes. It's 3 to 6 players. We played it with 4. Optimum is supposed to be 4 to 5. So, and we had a great time with Stella. We all liked Stella. We all commented how we preferred it to Dixit. All 4 of us playing. So the next one is that Don't Mess with Cthulhu Deluxe version. It's a card game, and basically you're split up into, it's a little bit of social deduction. I found out that there's a lot of games out there that have a touch of social deduction as one of its mechanisms. In other words, you don't know who everyone is when it comes to this game, and in this game you have the good people and the cultist. The good people are trying to get these the cards that have like a lit up like feathery looking thing, and the cultists are trying to find Cthulhu. And so it's kind of a little push your luck, as well as trying to just figure out who's lying and who's telling the truth. And yeah, it's a 15 to 30, well actually it's a 1 to 30 minute game. Because if somebody turns over the Cthulhu right off the bat, game's over. Cultist won. So it's a very easy card game that you can pull up and easily anybody can play this game. 4 to 8. It plays 4 to 8 players. 7 is optimum. We had 4 playing, and we played it a couple times, because 2 or 3 times actually, because it was just kind of like yeah. In fact, that probably changes my plays. I forgot that we played that one so many times because it was just real quick. We played it at least 3 times, which puts me at least at 40 plays. Wow. Okay, anyway, so the next one is one that I do own, and it's Point Salad. Point Salad is another light game, card game. And I actually had the opportunity of teaching it to somebody. She was waiting for another game to start, and I was waiting for another game to end. So she had friends that she was going to play another game with, and I had friends that I was going to play a game with, but they were both playing games. And so we were sitting there waiting, and I said, "Hey, do you want to play a light game?" And she's like, "Sure, but I only have a few minutes." I said, "How about Point Salad?" And she was like, "I've never played that." And so I was like, "Oh yeah, no, let me go." So I actually grabbed one of the 2 or 3 copies that Dice Tower has, and I proceeded to teach her, and we played Point Salad. It plays 2 to 6 people, 15 to 30 minutes. Optimum is supposed to be 3. We were 2, but we had a great time. Very light. You're just trying to match the right number of the right kind of vegetables to the goal cards that you also choose. It's all your choice. Do you want to take this? Do you want to take 2 of these? Do you want to take 1 of these or 2 of these? And you're just creating sets of things. Very easy game. I might have done a video on it already. I can't remember. Anyway, so that is Point Salad. Then I had brought a game for the game exchange, and as I was looking at all the games that were there, there were only 1 or 2 that I was kind of interested in, and the game that I brought was one that has been on my wish list for all year, and I don't own it. And so I thought, well, I decided that I wanted to play it to see if I liked it enough to actually keep it and just not do the exchange, and that would be my exchange. I bought my own exchange. And so the next game that game was 7 Wonders Architect, and I just did a video on this last week, so you can look at all of it and get a clue about 7 Wonders Architect. And I sat down with friends and we played it. It plays in about 25 minutes, plays 2 to 7 people, 4 is supposed to be optimum, and we actually played with 4, so optimum. But I really enjoyed it, and I knew that this is something I can easily teach others and bring it to the table, and it's a theme that might catch their eye, and the way that it comes out of the box is very unique. And I was like, you know what, I'm just keeping it. And so by playing it there, I made the decision that I was not going to do the exchange this year. Next year's another year, and I've already registered for next year, so it's like, yep. So Seven Wonders Architects was one that I ended up owning because I kept it from the exchange. Excuse me, my dog is begging. No. Good girl. She gets up on her back legs and is adorable, but no. The next game is a simple card game called Cat Lady. There's Cat Lady, and then most recently Dog Lover. I don't know how Dog Lover plays, but it is on my wish list. And actually now so is Cat Lady on my wish list. I have not bought it, but it plays in 15-30 minutes, 2 to 4 players. 2 is optimum. We played with 2, and it was a very nice light card game where you're trying to collect cats and food and toys to keep them happy. And depending on how many and what cats, and if they're happy, if you have the food for this one and toys for that one, whichever thing they most like or something like that, you get points. And whoever has the most points at the end wins. And that is Cat Lady. Another one is a social deduction game, but very simple one, and only takes 20 to 40 minutes to play, not 2 to 3 hours. Bristol 1350. In Bristol 1350, you can have up to 9 players. I don't know how the solo one works because it says 1 to 9 players. Optimum is 6 to 8, and we played with 8, and it was at that number. It's a little cutthroat. The concept is you're all people in Bristol in the year 1350, and you're trying to get out of town on one of 3 carts without catching the plague, because the plague is taking over the city, and you're trying to get out of the city without catching the plague. And inevitably, some people are going to get the plague. It's going to happen in this game some way. Some of you are going to get the plague. Now the key is trying to figure out if someone has caught the plague and trying to get into a different cart, or kick them out of your cart or something. Out of the 3 carts, the first cart to get out, if no one has the plague in that first cart, then the ones without the plague win the game right then. But if that first cart has even 1 person with the plague in it, then the second cart becomes important, because if this next cart can get out in 1 more round, 1 more move, if they can get out and they don't have any people infected, then the healthy side still wins. But if they have even 1 person with plague, then that means all the people with plague win. Well, when we played it, the first cart came out and they had the plague on board. And so the second cart, we were sure the second cart had someone with plague in it, or no, there was no way that second cart could get out in 1 move. So we knew that the only way to be on the winning team was to have the plague. So all of a sudden in that last round, all of those of us who were left in the last 2 carts were trying to catch the plague. And I think we all but one managed to catch the plague. When you want to catch the plague, it kind of gets it a little easy to catch the plague. Uh, and so, yeah, so we won because we caught the plague. It's a silly game, but it's a light game, fun, 20, 40 minutes, no problem. Then the next game on my list is Ticket to Ride Poland. Ticket to Ride Poland map came out a year or two ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not sure exactly when, but only for Poland. They were only selling it in Poland. And enough people around the world, especially people who try and collect all the maps, kept on asking for the Poland map. And so finally, they are making the Poland map, Ticket to Ride Poland, going to be made available in the United States. And so, so we decided, Dice Tower Library has a copy of it, and with English instructions, all Polish words and cities, but English instructions. So the two of us sat down, and I think it was two of us. Yeah, two of us. It plays just like any Ticket to Ride, kind of 30 to 60 minutes, 2 to 4 players, 3 to 4 is optimum. But we played with 2, and I enjoyed it with 2. With more, it starts getting more congested. But the difference between it and regular Ticket to Ride, because all the different Ticket to Rides have a little something that's different and unique to that map. And in this case, if you create a route that actually will connect 2 cities to each other, two countries, because you have Poland and all these entries into other countries on the outskirts. If you connect it, then you get cards with more points on them, and so you're constantly trying to connect cities to get the points for those, as well as do your routes and collect points for those. So yeah, we enjoyed it. It was enjoyable. I don't think I buy it because, I mean, it's like I'm not Polish and I'm not collecting all the maps of Ticket to Ride. I do have Ticket to Ride USA, and I have the Ticket to Ride United Kingdom on one side and Pennsylvania on the other side, and I just got Ticket to Ride Netherlands, and those are the ones I wanted because one grandmother was British and the other grandmother was Dutch, and also on the Pennsylvania side, my family is from that, and my American side of the family is from the New York, Pennsylvania area, and almost all of New York State is also on the Pennsylvania map. And so even the town that my grandfather, my one American born grandfather, was born in northern Pennsylvania, is on there. So I had to have that one. So yeah, I have some, but I don't think I need to have Poland, but I liked playing it. It plays like Ticket to Ride. So so yeah, if you have a chance to play it, why not? And if you have ancestry in Poland, then why not? And so that was Ticket to Ride Poland. Next one is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Played this a couple times. Usually it was late night, and truthfully, the first time was the same day that I had been the Puka demon first thing in the morning, and this was late at night, and I was the murderer. And so it's light social deduction here, trying to hide the fact that I'm the murderer, and trying to point the blame on somebody else. And I can't remember if I got found out or not. I cannot remember. I think I might have gotten found out by the end of the game, but I can't remember. I play so many games, and I did play 2 different Deception and Murder in Hong Kong. One in the next night, and in that one I was not the murderer, and so I kind of forget. They all kind of blend together when you play so many different and same games. But Deception Murder in Hong Kong plays in about 20 minutes, 4 to 12 players. It is a large group setting. suggested 6 to 8 is the optimum. We played with 8. Both times I played, we played with the maximum number. So so Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. It's a good game. It does have the Dice Tower Seal of Excellence, and has won a Best Party Game Award in 2015. It's been around for a few years, but good game. I just was very tired by the time I was playing it, and just didn't want to try and hide the fact if I was a murderer or not. But it was a good game. And last on this first page, played a lot of games, was Rear Window. I bought Rear Window the moment it became available, and I love it. It's plays similar to Mysterium, right up there. You have the director behind a screen, and then everyone else are observers, and you have these 4 apartments that have 2 windows each, and the director is trying to get the observers. It's a cooperative game most of the time, trying to get the observers to figure out who lives in the 4 apartments out of 16 people. I think it's 16 possible people. It might be 12. And you're trying to get them to figure out who lives where and what something about them. Are they the art connoisseur, or are they, the dancer, or something like that, And in the normal case, it's cooperative, and the director is using a bunch of cards with drawings and pictures on it to try and get the observers to figure it out. And you have 4 days to do that, so you have 4 opportunities to get them to pick out the person and the concept about them. But occasionally a murder token will come up instead of art connoisseur. It'll say murderer, and so then it becomes the director is playing against the observers, and for the director to win, they have to get the people to guess 7 of the 8 concepts correctly, but never figure out that there was a murder. Now, for them to win is to figure out all 8, including that one of them was a murderer. So yeah, it has that twist to it. Now, the game we played was without a murderer, so it was completely cooperative, and they figured it out the very last moment. They figured it out, and so it was a perfect game of Rear Window. It takes about 40 minutes. It's 3 to 5 players. They say 3 is optimum, but we had 5 players, and it went very well. And the truth is, you could have more people as observers. It was just that coming to a consensus might be a little bit more of a problem, because there's too many people trying to decide what is what. So yeah, because that kind of came up a few times. I'm listening to their conversations, and I can't tell them anything, and I'm listening, and this one is saying the right thing, and these 3 are going, no, but no, it's and I'm just like, listen to them. It's like, and I'm just kind of sitting there going, oh my goodness, it's like, please get this right. And they did. It's okay. So then the next one on my list is Grim Masquerade. The Grim Masquerade. I haven't taken it out of its shrink wrap yet. I bought it after I played it, because once I played it, I said, I need to put that on my wish list. And the Grim Masquerade plays in 20 to 40 minutes, plays 2 to 5 players, just like the last game. Optimum is 4. We played it with 3. And what you're trying to do here is, it's a little bit of social deduction again. You're one of these characters from the Grim fairy tales, and they're trying to. You're trying to figure out who is which character, and and you're trying to get other people not to guess who you are, because if they guess who you are, you're kicked out. It's an elimination game. You're kicked out of the game. Now, of course, it's a short enough game that we played it a couple times back to back, because it's a quick enough game, and it was cute and it was fun, and it's probably going to come up in my Halloween month not so scary game choices, because I'm not into spooky. But it was a fun game, easy game, and obviously I liked it enough that I came home and looked for a good price and found a decent one and ordered it. Next is one that I owned when I went there, but I played their copy of it, of course, which is Trekking Through History. Trekking Through History was a Kickstarter. I did a video on it last month. Did a whole unboxing thing when I got it. I was so thrilled about it. So excited, because I'd been waiting almost a year for it to come and be delivered. And so we played it. We played it twice. I keep on realizing that I've played more games than just a couple twice, more than once. Wow, so I have more than 39 plays for sure, maybe even 42 plays. Ooh, wow. Okay, so, but Trekking Through History, I know I played twice there. It plays in 30 to 60 minutes, 1 to 4 players. It does have a solo mode, and I've played it solo, and I've played it there, and I've played it at another event I was in for work just not this past week, but the week before, and played it with a couple different people there, and everyone who has played it has enjoyed it. In fact, I think most of us who played it at retreat played it because we had backed it and we wanted to play it with other people to see how it played. And I had only played it solo before that, and then when I played it a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, with non-big gamer, but actually a second cousin who does like some games, doesn't have this huge collection, but does like games. And at the end of it, he's like, I need to put this on my list to buy. So he's planning. In fact, I saw it on Amazon just this past week. So it is apparently out for retail purchasing now. But Trekking Through History, you are, let me put this down here. You are collecting cars, choosing cars, or purchasing. It can be free or it can cost you something. Or actually, no, they're free. It just depends on where they are to what you get when you choose that card. But the cards, you're creating a line in consecutive order from oldest to most recent history. And it can skip hundreds of years, but it needs to be consecutive at all times. And that's basically the thing. And the longer the train of cards is, the more points it's worth. It's exponential points depending on how long is your line of things, and then before you stop it and start a new one. So it's a beautiful game. You go check out the unboxing that I did. Now this next one, I've already talked a little bit about it, because this one came up on the last day, the Sunday early mid-afternoon. Somebody came up, and we were just putting away the Poland Ticket to Ride, I think it was, and she was like, oh, how was it? And we were saying, we liked it. It was nice. And she's like, I've never played any of them. And we're like, oh, would you like to? And so we went and got the original, the first one, the original Ticket to Ride USA, and we taught her, and she skunked us. I mean, she really skunked us in scoring. She picked up on the game very quickly and just beat us so well, because we weren't trying not to win, but she definitely won. And Ticket to Ride is 30-60 minutes, plays 2 to 5 players. 4 is optimum, they say. I like to play it at any 2, 3. When you start getting to 4 and 5, it really does start getting a little congested. But, well, 3 and 5 is the most congested, I think. Obviously, 5 is most, but 3 is second. 4 is not quite as bad as 3, because more routes open up with 4 players. But simple game. It's been around for quite a while. In fact, let's see, it won Spiel des Jahres in 2004. 2004. So that was the German Game of the Year in 2004. So that's 18 years ago, and it was out before that. So there you have it. So that's Ticket to Ride. Next, let me take a sip of water first. Okay. Next is Cottage Garden. There's a 3-game series, and Cottage Garden is the first one. And we decided, my friend and I decided, that we were going to play the 3 different games and see what we thought. So we pulled out Cottage Garden and we played it. We had another young man who came and played it with us. It plays in about 60 minutes, 1 to 4 players, 3 is optimum, and we played it with 3. And it's a polyomino laying. You get different. You get a polyomino shape, a Tetris shape piece from a column or a row, depending on where the little gardener is when it's your turn, and you place it on your garden, and you're trying to optimize in your garden. It's kind of, the laying down is similar to the game Patchwork, if you've ever played Patchwork. I don't know if I have Patchwork visible right now. I have the normal, oh no, Christmas Patchwork is over there with the Christmas games, and Patchwork Express is, I'm going to a senior citizen camp, and they've asked me to oversee the game room, and so I've pulled out just the dozen games that I think will work well with seniors who are not gamers. Anyway, so that was Patchwork. Anyway, this is Cottage Garden. Beautiful game, and actually we really enjoyed it. Once we had, none of us had ever played it before, so we all had to learn it, and we picked up on it pretty quickly and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. And it's on my wish list now. I have not bought it yet. It's not the cheapest for my hair is just all over the place today, bugging me. It's not the cheapest game out there, and so it's on my wish list. Keep an eye to see when a sale comes up. You know, we're getting close to Black Friday and the Christmas time sales, so maybe it'll get cheaper around that time. But it was a good game. Next game was Old London Bridge. I do not have it. Old London Bridge is a game that plays in about 45 minutes, 2 to 4 players, 3 to 4 optimum. Played it with 3. A gentleman from California joined us for that one. You basically have this frame that is your London Bridge, and you're trying to choose buildings to place in a row on your London Bridge, and they have to be, I believe, in ascending order or descending order. I can't remember. It's either ascending or descending. You can skip numbers, but they have to be in ascending or descending. I can't remember which. And if you get to the point where you want to, or you have to choose to put in to stop that row and restart it again with another higher or lower number, whatever it starts with. You can get a park and put it in place, but you get credit for your longest group of buildings. So, and there's also a track for, there's other ways of getting points as well. So you, just maybe move it over onto this side. Ugh. Anyway, it's a light enough game. It's not hard at all. I mean, we're still under the 2.0 level of complexity. You know, when it starts at 1 and we're still not even up to 2, none of these is a complex game. So anyway, Old London Bridge, I love the theming, and yes, it fits it, and it is on my wish list. Again, I'm looking, when things get put on my wish list, it gets into my radar, and I start looking to see if and when I can ever get it at a lower price. I'm a shopper. I have a lot of games, but almost none are ever bought at retail. Very, very few, like a handful out of all of these games. I really am always looking for a bargain. So when something gets on my wish list, it becomes part, it's part of my radar, and I start looking and look for a good price. So Old London Bridge, it was fun. It was great. The next one is one that I own, and we played their copy of it, and it's Decorum. Decorum is pure deduction. You are one of either 2, 3, or 4 plays 2, 3, or 4 players. Optimum, and I probably agree with it, is 2. We played it with 3, and it gets a little bit extra complicated. It's like, if you're not going to do it 2, try and go with 4 and not 3. But anyway, you are all roommates and about to move into this 4-room apartment, and you have decorating requirements to make you happy, and there are specific envelopes, so that you can how to set up and who has what requirement or whatever is actually computer generated to make sure that all of it can work together. But at the beginning of the game, you only know your requirements, and as things get changed in the apartment, you're trying to figure out what is it that the other people are. They keep on changing. Ooh, sorry, I lost the light over there. The power must have finished. It is not plugged into the wall. It's plugged into a little external power thing, and apparently it died. And I'm not going to get up to change it. There's enough light. So anyway, so you, like for instance, one of your requirements might be there can only be one red item upstairs, or it could be that you need to have one of each color in a room, or it could be that you only want antique items on the right side of the house. Little things, all like these type. And there are 4 colors. There are 4 colors, 3 items, and wall color. So there's 4 colors, 4 items, and 4 styles of items: modern, classic, antique, and a strange one. I can't remember what that other 4th one is. Anyway, but that's it. That's the game. And I had watched a lot of videos on it, and so I understood the concept of what I was looking for. I even watched playthroughs of it. One of the people, my friend who was playing it, did not get it and was very frustrated. very quickly frustrated. So my suggestion is, if you like deduction games and this sounds like something you would be interested in, try and play it first and see if it really is something that that you can grasp the concept of. Even if you're not figuring it all out, you don't want to get frustrated by playing it. I enjoyed it, even though we weren't figuring it. I just was having fun trying to figure out how we could work this out and have everyone happy. The next game, yeah, got on my wish list and got purchased. It's Quacks of Quedlinburg. Came out like 3 or 4 years ago now. It's been out for a little while, and I just never was. Yeah, I'm here like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, Quacks. Everyone was talking about it. It's this wonderful game, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice. And it just kept on putting it off, and I had never played it and everything. And so one day I was walking by a table, and they were looking for players, and they had Quacks out, and I was like, oh, can I join you? And so we ended up with 4 of us playing. Optimum is supposed to be 4. It's 2 to 4 players. Takes about 45 minutes. It's a push your luck bag building game, and I loved the game. The hilarious part was the last round. I mean, I have this bag full of different things, and I pulled out the worst choices out of this bag. And I was like, I literally went nowhere. And I maxed out, and it was like my potion blew up, and Tom Vassell came walking by, and it's like, oh, you're spending Quacks, and yeah, and they're saying yeah, and they're here like, look at hers, and he looked at mine, and he said yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. I said, no, you don't understand. This isn't the first round. This is the last round. I should have reds and yellows and green, whatever all those other colors are, blacks and everything. And all I have is white, and blue. And he goes, that's your last round? And I said, yes. And he's like, you got some bad luck, because it was horrible. But I found that I really liked the game. It was a simple game. It's an easy game. I'm here like, I can get people to play this. I can teach them to play it. It's an easy game. It's a bag builder, push your luck, easy. So I have it. In fact, it's the first one I got after getting back home. It was the first one I got. I got it on sale. I found a sale and said, okay, it's there. So that is Quacks of Quedlinburg. The next one was Ready, Set, Bet. And with that one, Tom Vassell, Dice Tower Tom Vassell, just from Quacks, who said I really had a bad hand, bad luck. He loves leading the game Ready, Set, Bet. And Ready, Set, Bet is it's a horse race, and you're betting on these horses to see which one will win and what you'll win at the end of the race. And he ran several of these games over the week, but I played it once. It says 45 to 60 minutes, but there's no way that it's the way he was doing it. He was doing it fast. We were done in 15, maybe 20 at the longest. And it plays 2 to 9 players. We were playing with 9. Optimum is 5 to 7, and I can understand that because 9 was very crowded around the table. I would like put down my bet and step back. I need space. It was like everyone's like, oh, looking over it and watching the horses to see who was getting ahead and who wasn't and all that. Fun game. It's just it's a lark. It's silly stuff, and it was fun. It was just fun. Now I don't think I need to own it. I do have Long Shot, the dice game, and that can be played solo, and I've played it solo. but it can also, it's a little bit more thinky. It's not so frenetic as Ready Set Bet, but Ready Set Bet was a fun game. It's definitely a fun game when you got a bunch of people. You get it. It's easy. It's just dice roll. Dice roll moves the horse. Dice roll moves the horse. Dice roll moves the horse. That's it. And it's like no problem. And so that's Ready Set Bet. The next one is Turing Machine. I do not own it because only the Kickstarter has come out, and it's on my wish list. It is on my wish list. It's pure deduction, and Turing is the name of the man who invented this type of computer machinery with the punch card thing. You know, if you're old enough to remember, or have seen the old movies that have the punch cards for the computers, that the way the punches are in the card create the words, or or the questions or the requests or the answers or whatever for computing something. And so a Turing machine game is, there is a 3 numeral answer, and what you're trying to do is figure out what is the 3 numeral answer, the sequence, and what number. The numbers run between 1 and 5, and you could have 1 through 5 as the first number, the second number, the third number. You could have the same number twice, either first and second, second and third, first and third. You could have, I mean, it's like there's all these combinations, and using what's in this game, you will one by one deduce the number. Now, the first time we played it, the three of us, there were 3 of us trying it out. It takes about 20 minutes, 1 to 4 players, 1 to 4, any number is optimum because you're really doing it on your own. The first time, none of us got it right. And we're here like, okay, we're obviously doing something wrong. We all had different numbers, and none of us, and so we said, okay, we're going to start over again, and we're going to do this again. We'll do a different number, because there's a book that sets you up. Okay. It's like, okay. So we did, and on the third, I think it was the third round of questioning, that we could pull up different things, different choices of numbers, and we all were just kind of like, I think I got it. I think I got it. I think I got it. And we're like, and we turned them to face each other. It was 331, 331, 331. We had all figured it out, and we looked up the answer, and it was 331. It was like, yes, we got it right. And so, yes, it is pure deduction. Now, my friend who did not like decorum at all loved Turing machine. So it's a deduction. It's just a different type of deduction. The next one on my list is Overboss. Big hunking thing. I have seen this cover and people commenting on how great it is and everything. Sorry, I'm kind of like sticking stuff on the desk and everything for quite a while. But that I'm not into monster-ish looking games or whatever. It's like the Overboss, these monsters. And so I just put it off. It's like Overboss, a boss monster adventure. And it was like, that's not a theme that really catches me. Catches my my concept, my love. No, my dog again. But it's a 20 to 30 minute game. It plays 1 to 5 players. There's a solo mode. I gotta check it out. Optimum is supposed to be 3. We played it with 4. And one of them was Camilla Claycorn from Dice Tower. And I think it was Mac who taught it to us. It was Mac, Mark, Camilla, and myself. And at the end of it, we're like, this was fun. This was light, but it was fun. It was like, okay. And so I said, you know what? It's kind of quirky and all, the theme, but it's bright colors and everything. So I'm here like, you know what? Not so bad. So it got on my wish list, got a good deal, and I got it. And so Overboss it's oh my gosh, how do I explain it? You're choosing tiles and placing them on your board, and choosing different not necessarily monsters. Some of them are, but some are different equipment that kind of matches the that pairs with that square tile, and the more matches you have, and the placement, and some things like to be near water, some things like to be near mountains, and so yeah, it's placement, and that's the, remember, if you've watched any of my videos, especially the one about my favorite type of game, is tile placement, where it's puzzly, and the placement is important. This is, and that's what this is, and I was very surprised and pleasantly surprised, and especially since it has a solo mode, it got high on my wish list, because I moved here not quite 4 months ago, 3.5 months ago, and I don't have a gaming group here, so solo games are a big plus for me right now. Next on my list is Feed the Kraken, social deduction. In this game, it's a new game, Feed the Kraken. Again, not a theme that would catch my attention, but once I sat down and listened and heard what was going on, I'm like, okay, some are sailors, some are pirates, and some are cultists. And no one knows who anyone else is, except the pirates do know who each other is. There's a time where everyone's eyes are closed, and then the game master says, "Pirates, open your eyes and look at, see who are the other pirates." And we're like, "Okay, there's 4 of us, okay." And then you close your eyes, and then everyone opens their eyes, and then I think the cultists don't know who they are. I think at first maybe they know who they are. I don't remember. I was a pirate, so I knew who the pirates were. And so the sailors are trying to get the ship to go to their harbor. The pirates are trying to get the ship to go to their harbor, and the cultists are trying to get the ship to go to the Kraken and be devoured by the Kraken. But you don't want people to know who you are. If you're a pirate, well, the sailor, everyone says they're a sailor. Everyone says, "Oh yes, we're a sailor. We're a sailor." But some of us were pirates and some of us were cultists. And by maneuvering cards, you have to shift that the ship a space to the right, to the left, to the middle, whatever, depending on what cards you have, choices, and you're trying to do it and make it look like I was trying to go that way, but I didn't have any cards, and so I had to go like in the middle. Well, I went to the left to avoid the Kraken, whatever, but it worked, and I do believe the pirates won. I have fun playing games. I really don't care if I win or lose, but I do believe that us pirates got the ship to go to our harbor so we could sack it. And that is Feed the Kraken. The next game is a very beige game. Very beige game. Beige and gray. I mean, beige and gray. I would never have thought of giving it a second look. The title, The Guild of Merchant Explorers, that sounds interesting because I like historical type of, other times and other, Guild of Merchant Explorers. Okay. It's, we're talking medieval or Renaissance or whatever. It's like, okay. But the board is very beige and gray. Very beige and gray. It's a 45, Feed the Kraken says 45 to 90 minutes, 5 to 11 players, We played with a full 11 players for the Kraken. And it didn't take an hour and a half. I think we did it in about 45 minutes, even with all of us. Anyway, Gilded Merchant Explorers plays 1 to 4 players, 45 minutes. 2 to 4 is optimum. We played it with 3, so we were fine. And you're trying to create a route between cities or build a city, trying to get treasures or get to the lighthouses and get points for getting to the lighthouses. And there's all different ways of doing it. It really is not that complicated, and it goes pretty quickly. I mean, we're like, this is the last round? Oh my, okay, it's like, how can I get the most points that, with the last 2 moves that I have? It's just, it just comes up on you real quick. But anyway, it was good. It was fun. And my friend actually is like, she was looking that she might get it at the exchange, because there were a couple boxes of it at the exchange. She ended up getting Gutenberg, but Gilded Merchant Explorers is on her radar now. For me, I don't think I need to buy it. I happily play it, but because it's so beige and gray, I like bright colors. I like color, Anyway, so that was that. Now the next game is a silly little game, and Ducks in Tow. And I do believe that it was only a Kickstarter. I don't think it's ever gone to retail. Ducks in Tow, and it's you have a boat and you feed ducks to get them into your boat, and then you can take the ducks to the pet store or the market, pet store, and you get points for the ducks and getting the right ducks in the right combination and all of this. And my friend and I, let's give you the info. 60 minutes, 1 to 4 players, 4 optimum. There were 2 of us playing. It would be very crowded with 4 people. It was crowded enough with 2. Anyway, very small board, very few choices, so we'd be like 2 on a square all the time. Anyway, we were trying to figure it out, and there were a couple parts of the rule book that we were just not understanding what the wording meant. And so we were trying it, and we were hearing, I feel like there's something wrong with how we're playing it. And Tom Vassell came walking by, and he's like, "Oh wow, I'm glad to see that somebody's playing this, game." And we're like, "Yeah, but we're not quite getting it." And so he stopped and he walked us through what we were doing wrong, and so we started over and played the game and played it right, and it was a cute game. If it weren't if I could get it retail, I would get it, because it is a very easy game to play, and it's cute as all these little wooden ducks, the different kinds of ducks, the brown ducks, the yellow ducks, the white ducks. Yeah, it was like the orange ducks. I think those are the 4 colors. Anyway, it was a cute game. Ducks in Tow. Next one is Indian Summer. Remember when I said that we were trying 3 games that that were similar, and one was Cottage Garden, and we enjoyed that with polyomino shapes and everything? Well, the next one in the series is Indian Summer, and so it's kind of like, okay, it's fall colors and leaves and stuff like that. And so we never figured out the rules right. We knew we were playing it wrong. We were like, there is something wrong with, we're not understanding this. And finally, after spending a good 45 minutes trying to figure that game out and trying to play it, and it wasn't working right, we just said, you know what? We don't need to spend more time on this. It's like, let's just find another game. And we did. And so when it comes to Indian Summer, it's 15 to 60 minutes, plays 1 to 4 players, 3 optimum. There were 2 of us playing it. And, I'm sure it's easy to understand because it's the complexity is still way easy. I need to watch a few videos and see if I can figure out what we were doing wrong, and see how it's played correctly. And if then it could be on my radar. Then I could put it on my radar. But right now, Cottage Garden, we figured that one out. We knew how to play that, and it was a fun game. I am sure Indian Summer is similar. It is a little bit more complex, and I believe the third game is a little bit more complex as well, over Indian Summer. But all of them are considered in the casual level, so we didn't even try the third one. We just said, okay, we're done. But it was pretty, and it's polyomino as well, or not so many polyominoes. Well, I guess it did, but it also has these little places for little things to go in or cover it. Or oh my goodness, we were just lost, and no one was able to help us, so we just put it away after spending about 45 minutes trying to play it. Next on my list is Christmas Tree. Now, Christmas Tree has been on my radar for a year now because last year I did a video on a bunch of Christmas games, and one of the games that came up when I went searching for ideas for Christmas games was Christmas Tree. But it is the most expensive of all the Christmas themed games that I've come across, and so I just wasn't willing to spend the money not knowing if I'd like the game. So I had the opportunity to play Christmas Tree, and so it's a 30 to 45 minute, 2 to 4 players. 4 is optimum, and we played it with 4, and I do believe it was Mark, Mac, Bonnie, and myself. We just played several games together, because good complexity level there, and I liked it. I really like it. Again, it is, you're decorating your tree. Everyone has their own tree. You're decorating with diamond-shaped cards that have different things on them, and you're trying to create certain groupings and such, and you can multiply your points by having certain things next to certain things, or in a row, or in as a zigzag, or whatever. There's all these different criteria that you can use, and it's one of those puzzly tile laying or card laying, the placement things. I love those kind of games, and I finished that game, and I'm here like, I gotta get this game. I have ordered it. I bit the bullet. It has never ever gone down in price all year. I have looked at it all year. It has never changed price. So it was just kind of like, okay, not even Black Friday. Okay. So I've ordered it, and one of these days I'll get it. Hi, little girl. You okay? My dogs just walked by. Anyway, this is a long video. Almost done. 3 left. Raw. I played Raw, which I do believe is like nigh on to impossible to get right now. It's I think it was a Kickstarter. It's being sold in Europe, but it hasn't come to the United States yet, but it will be coming. It plays in 45-60 minutes, 2 to 5 players, 3 to 4 is optimum. It was 3 of us playing. One of them had played it before, so he was able to teach the 2, and it really is not a complicated game, and it's cool. I don't know if what we had were the Kickstarter, which would nice bakelite tiles. It probably retail would probably have chipboard, cardboard tiles, whatever. The game is the game, and it was a fun game. It was, you're collecting sets per round, and then you get rid of them and score them, and then you do another round and you collect things, and then you score them and you get another round. I think there's 3 rounds, maybe 4. It was a fun game. It was a fun game. I would not be against it at all. I had 2 Egyptian games, Fayum and Ra, and both of them were very interesting. But I think Fayum was a little bit more complex. That was on my complex list, yeah. But Ra was simpler, still in the medium light range. Good. The next one on my list, next to the last one, is Dinner in Paris. And in this game, you are collecting sets things so you can buy restaurants and place them in around this square in Paris. And then you're creating little pathways or little patios or whatever for people to eat outside and stuff. And you get scored points that way and everything. It plays 40 to 60 minutes, 2 to 4 players. Optimum is 2. We played it with 2. And it was a cute game. I don't need to own it, but I would not be against playing it. I liked the game. It was very nice, and the buildings are really cute. I mean, you have all these, the pizzeria, the bakery, the brassiere, all these different kind of things. Oh, the fritere, fry, like French fries. It's like, yeah. And so, yeah, fast food. But it was a fun game. It was cool. While we were playing it, people would come by and look. It has a small table presence, but it's unique because it has all those little buildings and stuff. And so, yeah, it was kind of cute. And the last game, this is the most complex of my non-complex games. And it is called, here we go, Aladdin's Dragons. I have owned Aladdin's Dragons forever. At least 15, maybe even 25 years. When did this come out? Year 2000. Copyright 2000. So I've had it for like 20 years. Aladdin's Dragon is a blind auction type of game where, well, let me give you some info on it. 60 to 90 minutes, 3 to 5 players, 5 optimum. We played it with 4, and I've had it all this time and never played it. I haven't even punched it out. I just looked at it tonight and we're like, didn't even punch out the punches, the little chips. Wonderful components in it, but it's been out of print for a long time, and I just never quite grasped how to play it. And at the retreat, there was a gentleman who knew how to play it, and when I found out about it, we actually set an appointment to meet and play the game. And he was all about, he was so excited to find somebody who wanted to play, who knew about it and wanted to play it. And so we actually managed to get another couple people to join us, and he taught the 3 of us how to play it. And I was like, first of all, I was blown away when I found out that the components we were playing with were actually the components that are in this box. That's how not I have looked at this game in all these years. It's been sitting on my shelf, and I've just never, I looked at the rule book and just went, I don't understand what they mean. I was not understanding it, not grasping it. And it's such an easy thing. And I was here like, once I got it, I'm here like, oh my goodness, this is it's not that complicated at all. I'm here like, oh my goodness. And so, and then I found out that those are the actual components that come with it, not, dolled up, because Tom Vassell at Dice Tower, he likes to doll up the games. He gets really nice components. And I'm here like, these are actually in it. I looked in my box, and yeah, those are the actual, the little plastic, really nice, substantial pieces and everything. I'm kind of like, I never knew. I never knew. And it just never crossed my mind. So that is the last. I didn't even have to buy it. I already owned it. Who knew? Anyway, that is the 28th casual game. And now I have shared with you 37 different games, 28 of them in the casual level. I have gone an hour and 19 minutes for all of this. But I'm telling you, if you have an opportunity to go to any of the Dice Tower events, Dice Tower East in Orlando in July, Dice Tower West in Las Vegas in, I believe, February, Dice Tower Cruise in January, I believe is when they have their cruise, or Dice Tower Retreat. Dice Tower Retreat is the hardest one to get into because it's only 250 people. The others are, well, the cruise is like 700, 800, 900, and the retreat, the East Retreat is like, I think it was 1,700 this past year, and the West is a little bit larger, closer to 2,000. But any of them will have their library. And there's so many games to play, and everyone who's at any of these events is there because they love to play games. And if you like to play games, or if you're just getting to use, I'm telling you, all these casual games are there. And there are people who want to play just casual games. You would have a wonderful time. I love it. It's only my second time going to one of these, and it's, if at all possible, will be an annual event for me. Definitely. And once I retire, because you see with this gray hair, I don't have too many years left. Once I retire and am able to, I want to try for at least 2 of the events each year. We'll see how it goes. But definitely, it's a great time, even if you go by yourself. I've only ever gone by myself, and I am an extremely shy person by nature. Well out of my comfort zone, even going the second time, just getting there until I meet up with people and recognize people, and people recognize me, and then, but a green flag up, they're looking for a player. Just go and invite yourself and just say, hey, oh, how hard is this game? It's like, do you know how to play this game? Okay. And learn some new games. I learned 33 new games in 5 days. 33 new games. So, this is the long one. Happy 1-year anniversary to me and to all of you who are watching. God bless you and your families, and happy gaming. Until next time, which is just in 3 days. Bye.